it came from 33 different sources. Most of those people were not working together. Many of them didn't know one another, but they were all working in the area of trying to make sure that this history, which was being largely ignored by the mainstream media and certainly by television, that it didn't go unrecorded. Ultimately, we found a little over 700 hours of archival footage in which we thought we could tell these narrative stories over a 10-year period. And ultimately, we got pretty close, and then we kept going back for more and more and more, and we acquired our last piece of footage about a week before we premiered, so we were going a little nuts with it. But
one of the signs that there are 2 million people a year still dying of AIDS. I assume that's mostly in third world countries. And what is the movement like now in terms of worldwide AIDS and their efforts to get these drugs out there?
There's amazing activism going on in the countries most affected. There's a group in South Africa called TAC, Treatment Action Campaign, which stole a lot of the, or borrowed a lot of the techniques that we had developed in the States to pressure a very resistant government in South Africa at the time, who was even denying that HIV caused AIDS, and forcing them to give treatment to their people. ACT UP Philadelphia, which is still going strong, played a huge role in pressuring, when Gore was running against Bush, pressuring them to make AIDS treatment, funding for AIDS treatment internationally, a focus of that campaign, which ultimately led to Bush appropriating millions for paying for drugs overseas. And that's why we have about 6 million on treatment. That's that number you saw on the screen. And those 6 million lives are now being saved because of treatment, but we do lose 2 million every year because we don't pony up enough.
I'll do the quick prevention problem storyline, which is that there are over 50,000 people in this country who are catching HIV every year. A remarkable figure that hasn't been reduced at all in the last 15 years. So we still really don't know how to do that. And all the old messages that we've been trying have been failing. So it's an enormous challenge that hasn't been taken on. As far as the drugs, there are drug combinations that are fairly effective for just about everybody with HIV. So they've done, since the movie ends forward, they've really improved a lot of those drugs, and they've made them much easier to take, sometimes less expensive, but not always. I think the annual cost now is at least $13,000 a patient, but can be up to $35,000, as we know. But and there are so many people. 2/3 of the people with HIV in this country are not taking those drugs, and they should be, because the drugs themselves are a form of prevention. People on effective antiretroviral therapy reduce their likelihood of transmission by 96%. And that's a campaign that we really haven't undertaken yet, getting everybody on the drugs as part of prevention.
Well, I want to thank David for making this amazing film. It's been a long time. It's an emotional roller coaster to watch it, having kind of put it in a box. The only problem I have is that, you know, the 24-year-old me is in low definition, and the 51-year-old me is in high definition. And I guess that's a technological issue. Nothing. Okay. No, seriously though, a lot of us put this away emotionally and haven't revisited it in a long time. I talk to a lot of people who you see in that survival montage, David Barr and others, and we all have been reliving it for the first time in a long time, and we're kind of amazed how we have avoided it, what we all went through. And it's just a remarkable moment in history, in the history of activism, and in the history of American activism, that the younger generation has no idea about. Mm-hmm. And so hopefully this amazing piece of art will rectify that, and it'll hopefully get to a larger audience. And it is coming to theaters in September, so tell your friends.
Thank you, everybody.